Hello, welcome to this month's episode of our Take 3 video series, where we get a monthly dose of inspiration from barrier breaking and inspiring women. I'm Wendy Doyle, President and CEO of United We. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Lindsey Patterson Smith, who is president of the Patterson Family Foundation. She is also a mother, an active philanthropist, and a leader here in the Midwest, as well as a passionate supporter of United We. Lindsey is also an honorary chair for our We Work for Change annual event 2021, and is also helping provide leadership to our Change Can't Wait campaign. Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me. This is fun.
And thank you so much for your leadership within United We. We're grateful. So my first question is, what is it about United We that resonates with you to really, see change happen?
So, when I first started getting involved with United We, I was very impressed that it was not a traditional, what I call like rah-rah women's empowerment organization. There's a lot of proof in the pudding that your team at United We puts into this. The research is amazing, and the research is so important to highlight the issues that face women that may not necessarily be apparent at first, right? So I think that's incredibly important. The policy change is amazing. I mean, that is like the real long-lasting systemic change happening. I mean, some of the work that you guys have done on policy change is going to make a true generational impact, right? The occupational licensing was really great. I mean, like that is something that I personally had never put much thought towards. But I'm really glad that you guys had, because that's going to have like a huge impact for future generations and for women today. But I think that one of the like coolest things that I think United We does is the appointments project. And I think it is just fascinating, and really want to kind of dig my hands in more on this one. Because it, similar to the policy stuff, it's not just the impact that it has for women today, but it's the opportunity for that impact in the future, right? So representation is huge, right? Representation of our public officials, representation on our elected and our appointed boards, as we've seen in the last handful of years, especially your local politics are probably more impactful to you on a daily basis than your federal, national politics. And if those appointed and elected officials don't represent you and your interest, then they're never going to work for you. So making sure that we've got equitable access and equitable representation on these boards is amazing. And then the generational impact is really interesting to me as well. So, that woman who is able to sit on a board that she otherwise would never have sat on and is able to make an impact today, her daughter's also seeing that for the future, right? So the next generation coming up is going to be able to see themselves in positions that women in our generation, hadn't ever really thought that was possible for them. So I think that's probably one of the most impressive and exciting things that United We does, but it's a really hard list to tailor down. I mean, I think everything you guys do is not only very like interesting and exciting, but they're all very complementary of each other. So there's a nice balance of the research, the policy, and the action that I'm excited to see what this does in the future, right?
And this next question is about the Patterson Family Foundation and the direction that you're taking that. So one of the things that I am most inspired about is your impact in more rural communities and working to try to help them thrive. Mm-hmm. Will you share just a little bit about some of the work and how women and families are going to positively benefit from the Patterson Family Foundation's work?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So in rural communities, there's rural communities are underserved communities, right? And so so there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences and unique challenges within rural communities that you would see in an underserved urban community. And women like in most underserved communities, end up taking a brunt of those challenges. And so we absolutely recognize that if we're want to support and create more well-being within a community, you have to be able to first make sure that those women are supported. I know there are studies that have been done that if you go into a village and you want to improve the prosperity of that village, you focus on the women. And while that's not a specific focus area that we work on, it's in everything that we do. We've done micro grant opportunities for small businesses on Main Street, and almost 40% of those applicants were women owned, because that's what the population is. That's what the Main Street makeup looks like. And so we want to make sure that those women-owned businesses on Main Street make it through the pandemic and the recession, and make sure that they end up on the other end, because it's important for a generational impact. We support healthcare. Access to specialty services is very difficult, and it's a health risk in rural communities. And OB care, OBGYN care is high on that list, right? So that's something that we focus on. How do we have equitable access to specialty services in rural communities? Education and even childcare. Access to affordable childcare is an issue nationally, certainly, but even more so in rural communities, right? So that's something that we understand, and that we, always look for opportunities to make an impact in any of those areas.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing and for all that you're doing for these communities. They absolutely need you, and the future of rural America really is bright. Third and final question is more on a personal note, and you have daughters. So what is your aspirations and hope for them for their future?
Man, oh my gosh, like sky's the limit, right? My hope for my daughter is that she is comfortable being her own self, and that she knows that she can do anything that she wants to do. That's something that I feel like I was certainly told growing up, but didn't necessarily always see, right? So what you're told and what you observe may not match up. So I was told that I would be the first woman president of the United States. I'm certainly not on that track. I abandoned that one a long time ago. And looking back on that, there's like, why is the first woman president going to be when I'm of age to be president? Like, why do we have to wait that long? Although we are, or we have. So, I hope that my daughter doesn't see that she has to be the first of anything, right? So I hope that she can observe the world that represents the hope that I have for her, that she can be anything that she wants to be. And not just being told that, but that she actually can see it and see it in action. And so she has models that she can, model her life after.
Your daughter's so lucky to have you as a mom and to model this leadership, and can't wait to see what she does in the future. Yeah. Lights out. It's going to be amazing. I can tell. So, Lindsey, thank you for joining us today and for the impact you have made and continue to make through Missouri and Kansas. And thanks to everyone for tuning in to our latest Take 3 video segment. We hope that you have a great day.